Get everybody in here. Get that door shut back there?
Yeah.
All right. See you, Ranger Patty. See you, Ranger. All right, well, we'll make our first stop right here at the saltpeter mines. This was used in the 1800s. Around 1810, they would use saltpeter. They would sell it for about 17 cents a pound. This isn't like a normal mining operation where you go down in the ground and have tunnels and stuff through there. This is it right here. They would bring dirt from other parts of the cave, like it's piled up over there behind you. That's where they brought it from other sections of the cave. Piled it up there. They would sift through the dirt, and actually in the dirt is something called calcium nitrate, which is also saltpeter, whichever one you want to call it. And after they pumped water in from the tulip poplar logs, which are these logs like right here, and I believe there's some up there in that area behind you. They're really straight trees, the tulip poplar is, and they would hollow out those logs, and they would use them to pump water from the entrance down into here. So when they pumped the water in, they would use these kind of like a coffee filter, and they would sift through on this, and it would the saltpeter or calcium nitrate would come out down below right here. So they would take that out. Calcium nitrate is 75% of what's in gunpowder. So it was a pretty big business at the time, especially in 1812 when the War of 1812 started. Great Britain had a blockade on America. We couldn't get gunpowder from other countries very easily. So it was very important. Gunpowder is something you really need in a war. So it was important for us to have ways to make our own. There were a lot of cave systems around this area and other areas that did this. Mine for saltpeter to make the gunpowder. They would ship it up north to people such as E.I. DuPont, the original owner of what's now known as DuPont still. And they would use that to make the gunpowder. At the time of the War of 1812 to about 1814, when the war ended, saltpeter was about $1 a pound. So from 17 cents a pound to $1 a pound. Pretty big jump there. And then they went, and after that, it wasn't as big of a business after the war ended. There wasn't as much need for the calcium nitrate in the dirt. So what they did was, they had people coming up to Fleming Gatewood who owned the cave at the time, and they would want to go down and see where people mined. They wanted to see where the saltpeter was mined for. So he'd bring them down. He got this crazy idea that he could charge people for a little piece of paper and let them come in the cave. And people would pay money for that. You believe people pay money for a little piece of paper to come into a deep, dark cave? Pretty smart guy. So he started the cave tours. He would bring people down, let them look around in the cave, and that was his new way of making money since saltpeter wasn't working as well for him. So that's how our cave tour started back in the 1800s, and we continued that until the cave was privately owned until 1941, and that's when it became a national park. So until 1941, there were people who owned different parts of the cave. If you own the ground above, you own the cave under it. So we got a group coming up. We're going to move down this way. Does anyone have any questions before we move down? How this big passageway was made. There was water coming through here at one time. About 350 million years ago, there was water flowing through here. It wasn't a huge raging river like the length of, from top to bottom here. It wasn't covered in water. It wasn't like that. It was more of the water was like this level down here that we're on, and all this above us was rock. So at the time, the water was more running like right through here in the level we're standing on till about, a little higher. Not that much water, but when the water came through this area, what happened was the erosion that occurred on the rocks. It ate away at the limestone rock over here. So as it ate away, you see how it's kind of slanted like this? As it ate away at this bottom layer, the rocks fell from here, so there was nothing left above it. So it would fall, and in turn this would, and then this right here would fall, and it keeps falling until you reach a layer of rock like this one right here. It's strong enough to hold everything up above it. So there's about 150 feet of dirt above this and rock. So until it gets to this level right here, where there's one rock to hold it up, it's just going to keep falling. So all this rock right here was actually above us, fell down, and I mean there was rocks through here and stuff too. We had to clear a little bit to make a pathway. But, I mean, you think when the first people came in to explore, they had to climb over those rocks. Like this right here. It was all like rocks like this that they climbed over to come through here. And they didn't have the fancy lights that we have either. But that's how that formed. And the rotunda up there is the circular shape because it has water coming in. It would come in, that was a sinkhole that we walked into, the entrance. And so water would come in from there, come in, it funneled down to that area. There was probably water coming from another way. And as it meets there, I've got a bunch of different passageways, so it kind of just creates like this bigger area because you have more water coming in. But it flowed through, like there's a little passageway over there, there was water that flowed through there, just different places, and the rock just affected different, like, fell different ways, like some ways it fell, like a lot of rock fell, or like right there, just a little bit was only opened up. It just depended, but the water table is still here. Over the years, the water left this area and went down to the second level. Then the third. We actually now have 5 levels of cave. The 5th level is underwater. So the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th level is dry cave area like this. So there's no water under it, or in it, but there's water on the 5th level, which is about 360 feet below the surface. So does that answer pretty good?
Is there any variation in the water levels, or it stays the same seasonally, or?
It's pretty, I mean, of course it stays the same level as the Green River. If the Green River, it's on the same level, it's all right here. We're up above the Green River right now because of the hillside. So